How do I move this?
Press the little arrow. No.
What?
Press the little arrow. Hide notification. And I would have to share screen.
Chat. Where's the lobby? Okay. What can I put over here? Can I put this over here?
Sorry. So it'll be nice when we're stacked.
Yeah.
You don't want them in. You want the chat to be popped out too.
Yeah.
Do you want to let them in?
Yes. Can I have this? Okay. So I just. And is it recording? Yes.
Okay, they're stressing me out. Just like, wait, I don't know why. Just let them in.
Okay, maybe I'll let everybody
Just
speak at the same time.
Huh?
Let them unmute themselves. No?
I don't know if you want to. I guess it probably depends on how many people. You can always change it later.
Can everybody hear me? I can't hear anybody.
Can you hear me?
I can now, yeah. Hey, so I changed the security to allow everyone to unmute themselves because it doesn't look like we're gonna have a ton of people. But if we do end up having a ton of people, I'll go back to that format. Just makes it a lot easier.
How you feeling, Chris?
Oh man, I feel like doo-doo. I took some tramadol and it makes me feel like crap. I'm like sweating and then shivering, and it was supposed to make me not feel any pain and makes me feel like ugh, horrible.
Dude, you gotta be careful with that too, because I
No.
took too many of them and I was like hallucinating and
Oh geez.
it didn't help with the pain. It
See,
just
that would have
gave-
been nice. I'm not feeling
Yeah.
that good. No,
I was gonna say, don't tell him that or he'll take some more.
okay, so hey, I'm gonna go back to unmute themselves just because we have more people coming in. I noticed we have Linda and Travis D. So here, I'm gonna have to put that off. But what we'll do here, I'll let them in 1 second. What we'll do is go over some of the items with Margaret here in the beginning about the disaster preparedness and then the ham radio guys, because I think Margaret's going to get out of here quick. And then we can go into some of the grant stuff if that's cool with you, Ian. Okay.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah.
Last year, they did a traffic calming survey. Whatever came of on First Avenue.
That gentleman that came to the meeting, I never heard from him again. That was a private individual that did that, didn't he?
Okay.
Yeah.
It might have been.
Yeah, I'll have to look here. Let me let these people in. I'll have to look back and see what his name is, but he never came back to any of the meetings nor shared with us. Hello, everyone. Good evening. So Delinia, you know what? Let me remind me to ask Brad about this. Brad might be able to get in
Okay.
touch with that guy. But I'll write that down. Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our, at least right now, our weekly edition of the Whitaker Community Council meeting. Hi, Teresa. Nice to see you. Let's see. Okay. So we'll wait a couple more minutes. There's a few people straggling in right now. We have a few things on the agenda. I got some emails that I wanted to go over with some people in regards to some upcoming events. And Ian and the crew have, I think, do you have 2 proposals tonight, Ian? 2? Okay, 2 proposals. And then some info, Scooter.
Katie has her hand up.
Go ahead, Katie.
I forgot to ask this at our COVID meeting, but Chris, I should ask you anyway.
Well, I can't hear you.
$100 from. Oh dear. Can you hear me now?
A little bit better, yeah.
No? Okay. We got a check for $100 from Maria Chan Monaco. And I think it was money you said someone was going to donate after the COVID clinic. And I wondered if it should go into fiscal, our general account or fiscal sponsorship.
I mean, our general account, I would say. I mean, it wasn't geared towards anything except the community council. And then I also got a $250 check from another community member too, to put in the bank.
Okay.
Hi, Scooter. Well, good evening, everyone. Like I was saying, we're going to wait a couple of minutes, but it's about 7:03. Might as well get rolling. This is the open part of our meeting. Does anyone have anything that they want to share with the community? Okay. Oh, there's Gabe. Okay. This gentleman who's coming in here right now is Pastor Gabe, whom I met, and I shared a couple things on our hi Gabe, welcome. Here, let me just open you up. Hi Gabe, this is the open portion of our meeting, and I'm sorry I'm throwing you right into the fire here. But this was a good opportunity for for us to say hi and get to know you. And I was just about to give them a little rundown of how I know you. So would that be okay if I just throw you right in here?
Absolutely. I'm ready for the fire, Chris. Make it happen.
Okay, thank you. So I got a call from Margaret, our community resource officer, and she was putting together a meeting with this kind gentleman, Mr. Gabriel, and wanted to know if I wanted to join in and take a listen to what he had to say. And I think that it's a lot of information that I think all of us are going to find pertinent, and hopefully we're all going to make beautiful music together in the future. So take it away, Pastor Gabe.
Cool. So, oh man, it is a lot of information, but just to make it as close to home for you guys as possible. First of all, really an honor and privilege to meet you, Chris, the other day. Loved hearing what you're doing in the Whitaker. I've been in Eugene 22 years now. I've spent a lot of time in and out of Whitaker. I've never lived there, but certainly been in and out as part of Eugene. Great neighborhood, a heartbeat of our city in a lot of ways. And so I'm thankful for the time with you folks. So I have been most of my time in Oregon. I've been a professional logger and had about 4 years ago no intentions or plans out of that, but interestingly enough, out of it, I became a pastor, which I did not see coming and still don't fully understand. But here we are. And one of the things that came out of my experience in that was I wanted to kind of grow a new church in Eugene that was different than most, if not all, that currently are here. And that I never expected that, just so to be clear, Jesus Christ Church, you might say. So didn't want that typical Sunday rhythm to be the heartbeat of who we were and what we did in the community. So I wanted to be doing good works. And so my first post out of college was Westside Christian Church, which is over in the 18th and Chambers neighborhood. And as soon as I took over, as you might suspect, there's quite a healthy or robust unhoused population that lives on that intersection and around it. And they started coming onto the church porch to get out of the weather and elements. And the previous pastor had a pretty firm no tolerance for that sort of thing. And so I decided, hey, if I'm going to get to kicking these people off of private property, I'm going to know their names first. What happened after that was the most beautiful, amazing, sweet story. That's probably one of the highlights of my life, hands down, big time. Besides my wife and children, it's right there. I got to know these folks really well. There's 8 to 10 that had been on that intersection for a really long time. And as they became part of the church porch situation, got out of control pretty quickly because I had no business doing it, no knowledge of how to do it well. And so in order to kind of manage it well and make it healthy for everybody involved, especially the folks living on the porch, I got into league with Eugene Police Department Officer Margaret. It's a recent addition to that team, but another few officers were helping me out. And then what we did is we went around to all the business leaders in that intersection. There's 28 businesses on 18th and Chambers, and brought them all together for a big meeting. And I just said, hey, we're all in this neighborhood together. These folks are part of it, whether you like it or not. And I think if we work together, we can find a great way for them to be part of the neighborhood that makes sense for everybody and improves everybody's place and space in the neighborhood. So I always made it clear to the guys that I was helping and loving on that while I'm all for heads up basic needs that you deserve, I'm here for the flourishing of the entire community. That's my primary purpose and reason for helping everybody and anybody, is the entire community flourishes together. And of course, if parts of our community are being disregarded or treated unfairly or not having basic needs met, then our community isn't flourishing by definition. So this is a big deal. So what was really beautiful is out of that partnership, they were giving back to the community. Every Saturday, they would do a couple hours of community service in that intersection. I'll never forget the day we pressure washed the outside of the 7-Eleven, which was like caked in an inch of 20 years of gunk and film. And one of the guys that was part of the program dressed like a pirate all the time. And here he is out there pressure washing the 7-Eleven sidewalk. And the jokes as people came in, they're like, the pirates swabbing the deck. Oh, it was too much. And the owner of 7-Eleven, I'll never forget his face. We're like, hey, we're here to pressure wash your storefront. And he's like, what? I'm like, yeah. The homeless guys from the intersection, they want to clean your store because it's gross. He's like, I don't even know what to say. I guess go ahead. So it just was beautiful. And there's so many stories like that. If any of you find human beings, bunch more, so many great ones. And I'm sure you guys all have amazing stories from the Whitaker that I would love to hear as well. So long to get this to the point here, after we sold the West Side building, because the church was dying, that was my post there, was to help the church come to a close. They gave me some proceeds and they said, here, go with your crazy ideas and start a new church in Eugene that is what you think it should be. And so we've got a warehouse on West 11th. In the process of this, I've become bivocational. And so while I'm trying to do a new church work, I'm also working now for Square One Villages. You guys probably know of that organization and the good work they do in the community. So I'm managing 4 Square One Village sites right now, 1 at Four Corners, 1 on River Road, and 2 at church sites which are just for homeless families, unhoused families. So as I was in the process of starting that job and getting loose from the 18th and Chambers neighborhood, I ran into Gabe Castile, who's a builder for Square One and Carry It Forward. And he's like, yo, Gabe, there's 2 Gabes now. This is too much. He's like, hey, I got this idea for a tiny home that's humanitarian based. It's green footprint, eco-friendly, passive energy. We got to get this thing out in the community, but I got nowhere to build these things. And I said, well, I need a space to do crazy church work in, and you need a space to build. Let's do this together. Lo and behold, I went to the broker. I said, I need a warehouse. I need a good location. And I need a good amount of square footage. An office would be nice. A bathroom would be great. And I need it for free. She laughed at me and she said, okay, Gabe. I said, all right, just look for me. So she calls me 2 weeks later. She's like, yeah, that doesn't exist, homie. And I'm like, okay, I kind of guessed that. I appreciate you looking. She calls me 1 week later, late at night, and she leaves this message and she whispers, and she's like, you need to call me back right now. And I'm like, okay. And she's like, I was just talking to my neighbor over the fence, telling her the story, the kind of work you're trying to get done. He's got a space, just came open, hasn't listed to the public. You should go look at it. It's on West 11th. Chris has been there. It's the perfect space for us to get started in. 900 square feet of warehouse, 300 square foot office, great location, huge parking lot, $1,100, all utilities included. She's like, Gabe, this is not a thing in the marketplace. You should definitely take this. So we did. And away we go. So now Gabe Castillo's in there. He started building the first round of tiny homes. We have funding for the first 4. It's our intention to just roll those right into the community. The beautiful part about these is they're on wheels and they're mobile. And so they can go from site to site. And we want to build in a sweat equity day labor program where these folks can help build their own unit. They get some cash for the labor and then they get the unit. And then if they move from site to site in the community, their unit can go with them. It looks like a house. It feels like a house. It's built like a house. It's 2x4 insulated. It's just too much. It's too much goodness. It really is. So kind of the unique thing that Chris and I talked about, which I'm excited to explore with you guys, is this idea that we need more sites. And probably the biggest landowner, the biggest landowner in Lane County, non-residential, is the church collectively. And as you guys probably know, that's a tough interface and it has its struggle points, and it breaks my heart because it shouldn't be, it should be the total opposite, but it isn't. So we move on. Landowners, private landowners, are also a great resource. And so, but what we got to figure out is, how do we walk with people having resourced and getting into shelter and building a tiny home and finding a sustainable place in the community? They need alongsiders, you might say. And so I would like to explore with you fine human beings, how do we build out an alongsider program? How do we find folks who want to lean into this community and do good work? And we find ways to pair them with 1 or 2 other unhoused individuals, and they just become an alongsider, a mentor, a helpmeet, if you will, and just walks with them through that process and finding the right match for them. So let's say Bob builds a tiny home at my warehouse, needs a place for it in the community, and has an alongsider, and then that alongsider works with Bob to find the right fit for where that unit should go, where they can set up and live in this community. And I've got church groups and good people who just want to help, but they look at the whole solution, the whole situation and landscape, and they go, it's too big. I don't know where to begin. I don't even know how to understand it, let alone help. And so if we can provide framework and infrastructure for them to interface as these alongsiders, the manpower is there. It's there. We just need to give it access points, and provide a way for them to understand the dynamics of what's going on here, and then just release them to love into the community. And I think if we can figure that out, like Chris said, make some beautiful music together, I got to think this has got teeth to it. It already does. There's a great swell of community support around this. The police are involved, the city's involved. And just this past week, Chris, you might know this, you might not. I've been approached by the city for a new car camping site out in Santa Clara on River Loop 2. The new development on the river by eWeb, where they're going to make that huge area like shopping, hangout, river park thingy. They're experiencing negative interface with the campers in that area. They're concerned about security at the work site. There's 2 or 3 more years left to go before they're done with that project. And so there's conversations. Hey, what if we get a site here managed and operated with these tiny as part of their day wage opportunity, or providing shifts of eyes and ears de facto security for the work site? And anyways, just to say, that's a whole lot. As Chris said, I apologize. I talked really fast. Chris, you are full liberty to release all my information to all these great humans you do life with. Anyone wants to call me, ask questions, talk, have coffee, tell me how crazy I am, I'm game. And I'm also available for any questions right now. Chris, if I miss anything, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to breathe.
Oh, you're doing great. Does anybody have any questions for Gabe? Teresa, and then Zelinia.
Oh, that wasn't a question. That was a celebration. That was an applause.
Yay! All right,
Sharing not
Zelinia.
only your kindness, but your incredible information and yeah, investment in our community here.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. And I will say this, short of any further questions, people always wanted to give praise, and I appreciate it. And it is a lot of hard work, because you guys know you're doing the same work in your community, and it's very hard, and it doesn't have a lot of thank yous. So it's nice when they come. But I always am quick to tell people, in the whole arc of that story I just shared, I really feel strongly that I'm the one that received the most from the guys. I really feel that. Like, that group of 8, and what's really beautiful is just 2.5, 3 weeks ago, those 8 folks that started on the porch at Westside almost 2 years ago, we housed them all. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. But they have been impactful in my life to degrees I'm going to probably be unpacking for the next decade, right? Like, it's that rich what they poured into me with their life experiences and their tenacity and their love. I mean, just perfect example. One of the key guys in that group, there's a little Cambodian restaurant next to the church there in 18th and Chambers, and the lady's got a little outdoor eating area that has a bunch of landscaping in it. She approached the guys and she's like, hey, can we hire you to do the landscaping for us? We've seen the other good work you've done in the intersection. And Les is like, absolutely, I'd love to help you out with that. When can I start? And she's like, well, how do I pay you? What do I pay you? And he said, oh, I can't take any money. And she's like, huh? You're unhoused, right? He's like, yeah. And she's like, well, I want to pay you. I am happy to pay you. And he's like, that's not why I'm here. I'm gracious for your offer, but I'm here to show the neighborhood that I'm contributing and I care about this place, and I want to change the paradigm of homelessness in this neighborhood. That's why I'm helping you. And that's just like, dude, what do you do with that? And then and when we had the interview for the getting them all housed a couple weeks ago, they were asking Les about the tiny homes that they're going to help build over at the warehouse. And he's like, yeah, it's super cool. Can't wait to be a part of it. And we get to build tiny homes. And he said this, he said, and it's my hope that I get to build 5 or 6 tiny homes for other people before I build one for myself. See what I mean? Like, what do you,
That's awesome.
it's just incredible. These, and it's not me. Just hear that. It's not me. It's not me. I'm just along for the ride, doing what I can.
Delinia, do you have something? And then Angie.
Yeah, I did have not really a question so much as with the eWeb thing and putting them out there with the tiny homes, you might want to also give them like phones, tracker phones or something like that. So if they do have an emergency, they can call out.
Yeah, one of the great things is that in the process of going, and I love that suggestion, that's really key. Most people don't realize the safety concerns that folks experience being unhoused, right? Like they always have this perception that they're a safety concern, experiencing serious safety. Just to say, yeah, we've in the process of going from West Side and going over to a Square One site, they all have phones now, and part of the cool thing is if we get the opportunity to build that site, my intention to make it unique to the spot. So there might even be like a unit that's there as like a mini office that the person, whenever they're on duty, so to speak, that they would have that space to sit in, and maybe it has a cell phone and maybe it has a laptop or what have you. But yeah, that's a really key point. Thank you for bringing that up.
Angie.
Yeah, so you mentioned alongsiders, and I may have missed could you just expound on that a little more?
Yeah, so kind of what my experience with that key group from Westside was that it took stable housed, and now they're really involved in the community and they're working and their lives coming back together full circle. But I really feel now, looking back and really like assessing how that all went, the key factor for me, I think, was that I was an alongsider for them. So I was in relationship with them the whole way. And it took a while. Like, any relation, they're all the same. Relationships are hard and they take time, and you can't go from 0 to 60. It's not how it works usually. And so there were many months up front where it was just a process of us getting to know each other and learning about each other and making mistakes together and having good intentions and tripping all over each other and sticking with each other. So there was some very hard times during that process. But sticking with each other, alongsiding with each other, I think was the difference in the end of this ending successfully for all 8 of them. And so I'd like to see these this swell of community workers on the ground level that's coming to me because they're hearing of the story and they're like, how do I get engaged? And I'm pondering because I don't want to waste that love equity, right? That hands and feet equity. Like I want to be intentional and strategic with that because you don't get that every day and we need it. So I don't want to like send it out willy-nilly and it burns out or fizzles out or comes back disenfranchised. So I'm thinking, man, if we could build out an alongside or program or framework somehow to where people could say, hey, go with this alongside or see how they do it. And then let's get to know you a little bit. And here's some folks we know in the community who are in house will be a good fit for you. I don't think there's any shame or negative aspects to being intentional with how we do this. Like from a certain governmental standpoint, you might say, oh, equality, and you can't do that. Ah, phooey. I say, let's get to know people and let's be intentional with who we alongside with who, so that we have a good chance of success, right? Like we might have an alongside that fits Bob. Let's put him, you know,
Wow.
with the long-siding.
Kind of like case management almost is what you're thinking too.
But not with,
Would be a
Yeah.
very grassroots,
awesome.
and we'd have to attend to those safety concerns. But I think short of that, I think we would be doing a disservice to the gravity of the problem if we get bogged down in too much of that. Have some trainings and modules that might make sense along the way. But I think it needs to be very grassroots, very, you know, it's just relationship. It really is. And you don't need training to be in a relationship per se. So yes, I know what you're saying, and you're absolutely right. But just to say, if we got an alongsider who's willing to learn and grow with another human that's unhoused, that unhoused person a really great chance of success in achieving stabilization and growth. And, you know, I think I've heard enough from Chris, and I know enough to do in the community to know that you realize what I realize. I'll every single human is unique and special, and there's no two alike. And the fingerprint's a biological reminder of that, right? There's no two fingerprints the same in the whole globe, right? So that tells me that if we have humans in our community that are getting pushed to the edge and forgotten or, you know, just like treated like they don't count, the real loss tangibly is that individual, but collectively there's a greater loss because we as a community are missing out on someone who can bring something to our community that only they have, right? Like if it's gone, it's gone, right? We miss out on that. And you don't even know what you miss out on, which is the shame of it all, right? Just think of these great humans that you guys interact with. Like once they kind of get what they need and they get love and relationship and stabilization, they're pouring back into the community in ways that only they can. And we're grateful. I'm grateful for that. I really am.
Me too. Thank you, brother. Margaret.
So I actually don't have a question, but so I saw you all over Facebook and I saw you on the news, and I'm sure that you're aware of the fact that you pretty much went viral with what you did on the porch. And
Yeah.
I just want to tell you that watching your story over and over and over, myself as living in the neighborhood and looking at some of the issues, it gave me real hope. And sometimes what looks like a hopeless situation.
Mhm.
And not only did it give me hope for me, but it also gave me hope for the individuals that are out there living in it. And I really, what you're talking about does have some teeth, and it's a great thing. And you know, I'm real happy to have you here, and spread the hope. That's a powerful tool.
Yeah,
So powerful.
you're right. Thank you for those kind words. And I'm glad that that's the effect that's coming out of this to some degree, because you're right. And that was my take up front. You know, when I first took that job at the church and they came onto the church porch, like I was like, this is ginormous. What? I can't do anything with this. There's no way. I'm just a goopy pullout from Buffalo. But what I finally landed on was, okay, you're right. It's ginormous and you really can't do anything about it. But what you can do is something with the people that are right in front of you.
Yeah, a piece at a time.
Yep. And I firmly believe, to speak to what you just said, that the hope and the viralness of all this, the cool thing is there's not a historical point in time where I sat down at a table and thought to myself, this is what I'm going to do. That never happened. What is happening now and how this has grown comes solely, I believe firmly, from the fact that those folks showed up at the church porch doorstep, and I treated them with dignity and respect, and gave them, and was pleased to be in relationship with them, and honored them, and they honored me. And this is what came out of it. That's what this is from, right? It's take a long, 2 years is a long time, but obviously well worth it, or we all wouldn't be on the Zoom call right now, right?
That's true. We have another community member, Travis. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Hi, Gabriel. Well, congratulations on your successes with the porch, with the folks on the porch. I guess my question is, if you dealt with drug and mental health issues amongst those through those issues.
Man, thank you for that question. Thank you for the kind. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I think that comes with the territory. And how I handled it was, I took a stance on the church porch, particularly at 18th and Chambers, of you're drinking, you're smoking pot, what you do on your own time, that's your business, right? You go out canning all day, come home, you want to relax with a beer, that's that. I do the same thing from time to time. So that's just life. I get it. And it's not my business how you do that free time. But I did have a hard time with white drugs. And so I came to the conclusion with that was, here's the deal. I know you guys from time to time will slip into that. And I see that, and it breaks my heart when you're not, and that just crushes me because I love you. And I said, if you're going, you can't do it here. It cannot be on this church property. It's just going to ruin it for all of us, because that's going to take this whole show down. And by and large, I saw that happen very infrequently. Now, what's been really awesome, which I can't wait to share right now, is that when we moved from the church porch, which is great, and it served its purpose, and I'm happy for it, but they were still outside under the elements, and they were sleeping on a concrete patio, okay? When we moved into these shelters at the site we're at now, I have watched with my naked eye their use go down. And here's the thing, I'm not like advocating for that or recommending that or harping them on that, but just going from that state to a sheltered state, and you wake up in the morning and you're not cold and you're not sore and you're not exposed, it seems like they're less inclined to begin the day with use. And then what's been so cool to see is inside their units, they're decorating and organizing their belongings, and they're taking pride in that. And I think I've watched, at least I think this is what's happening. I don't know what else it would be. They're not using as much during the day because they're spending time caring for their space and personalizing their space and taking pride in cleaning their space. And they're preferring to do that sober as opposed to under the influence. And so I've just watched the use go way down, and it's just been a natural byproduct, if you will, of transitioning from the porch to an actual shelter. And I'm so excited to unpack that further as we go, see how that plays itself out. But I am a firm believer that if you want to tackle those problems, you can, but you got to time it right. Because as you guys know, just stopping drinking and just stopping using drugs is not reality, especially if you've been addicted for a very long time. It's just, you just don't turn that off. It's not a water faucet. So as long as we have grace in that and truth in that, and we unpack that and work through that in relationship, bound by mutual respect and love, I think we can get places with that front. But that's probably the slowest part of it potentially.
Thank you, Gabe. Hey,
Yeah.
just so you know, I did invite Gabe to come back at a certain point to kind of pitch and have a picture, but throwing him under the bus today, I think, was the best. I think that worked out. This is his natural environment, helping people, and I think that he's amongst his peers with everybody in the screen. So I am really excited to have you on board, or at least for us to be able to get on board with you and helping more people, because we sure do need people like
Absolutely.
you, bro. We really do. Does
Yeah,
anyone
no,
else have any questions? I'm sorry, Gabe, go ahead.
no questions for sure.
Anybody else? Well, I'm sure more are going to come up, and then we'll have more of a formal presentation and show people pics and some success stories, and maybe have them come take a visit over at your shop sometime. If that's
Yeah, so just out of curiosity, Chris, where are you guys at? This is just a perfunctory question, but prior to COVID, were you doing these meetings in person, I'm guessing?
Yes.
And is there intention to get back to that point when you can?
Yes, we're next
Okay.
week, we're gonna do a mixture. We're gonna do an in live or a live meeting, and we're gonna do it in on Zoom also. We're gonna project it.
Okay.
We're gonna be down at the church on the corner.
Okay. Well, yeah, just to say, I'm here to join you guys whenever you'll have me. And I think I agree with you, Chris. I think I'm feeling pretty blessed and honored to be in league with you guys. And I think we are going to make some great music together. And it's going to be beautiful, and it's going to be rock and roll. Or whatever your preferred flavor is. We'll make it all. So just to say, yeah, so let's talk more. And I would love to have a time when maybe you guys come down to the warehouse, can show you around there, and we can get some more, like you said, some more details out and just start to get to know each other a little better, and have relationships of our own as we lean into the community and try to spread more relationships.
Cool.
Really.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, totally.
I really appreciate it, Gabe.
Yeah, thank you for the time, folks. An honor to meet you all. I can't wait to meet you all in person and get to know you all a little bit better. You as well, Chris, and we'll see and talk to you guys all soon.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
You bet.
So, yeah, everyone, when I met Gabe, I just knew I had to share. He is such a good person. He really is a good dude. The model that he has for the trailer homes, it's pretty unique. Yes, I'll put his contact info in the chat. He's made these so that they could actually be moved around. They're on pneumatic tires, so I mean, houseless individuals can potentially move these themselves. But he also has a group of people where when they move, he's going to put them on flatbeds, and I mean, he's very hands-on. So we're also talking right now too about showers, and there's a shower facility that's available through the city, whether Eugene or Springfield, I can't remember which one Gabe was saying, but it needs a vehicle to tow it around. So I'm hooking Gabe up with another group, and hopefully we're gonna try to have some mobile showers. That's something else that he's working on too. So, you know, all these things about reinventing the wheel, I think, is just bringing in more people who are already doing these things and using their energy and their potential to further all of our goals, which are to help people. But without further ado, Margaret, here, I'll cue you in here. There was a gentleman who hit me up, and I believe, Katie, you could correct me too. Here, I'll click you in here. About 2 years ago, where we had the disaster preparedness. Was it about 2 years ago? And I think this was one of the guys, Andy Davis. He's with the Amateur Ham Radio crew. He wanted to talk about bringing the emergency communication network, having CERT maybe a little bit more robust. So I could put the email into our chat or something like this, but basically he just wants to be a little bit more involved since we haven't talked to him in over a year. And also, we really don't know who all of our people with CERT are anymore. I think after COVID, we didn't really see the same people who were on it. Margaret or Katie, unless I'm wrong, I don't remember anyone else coming back to the meetings.
Well, we were working on that quite a bit at the Health and Public Safety, and Non knows quite a bit about it as well. We have a neighbor who's certified on Cedar Street, and she was trying to get information about who else in the neighborhood was certified, and trying to help people get signed up to take that certification class.
Yep, that's true. She's quite the powerhouse.
Megan.
Yeah, Megan, that's right.
Okay, so maybe what, oh, Megan, that's her name. Yeah, maybe what we could do
Yeah, that's right.
is have her come back in maybe May. At one of our meetings in May, have a special meeting and try to get people with CERT and also with the amateur radio. Margaret, would you be into that too?
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. I've been to a few CERT trainings and some of their meetings. We actually put a booth up meeting once, and it's a large organization within the city. There's several little pods inside of CERT itself, the ham radio being one. Does anyone know anyone in the Whitaker that has a ham radio? I'm curious.
I don't know anybody personally, but I know there's at least 3. Megan has like a map of
Yeah.
them.
I might have it in my old notes, but Megan knows.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if you all read the post that Chris put up, but basically what the person that emailed him said is what they want to do is put together a little escape guide using the ham radio operators within our neighborhood. If there is a natural disaster or a fire or whatever, that we have a community response team within the Whitaker, and that would help if we had no communication, if we knew who the ham radio operators were, and if we were coordinated together, so they could get the word out, because ultimately telephones aren't going to work. There'll be no internet, none of that.
We won't have water. And
I don't know who has a landline phone. That was a joke.
I was gonna say, I don't think anyone here might have one.
I think Ian, didn't you send a thing a few months ago to go to a CERT meeting?
Yep. And I've got the list of folks who
Yeah.
are ham radio certified. There's only 2.
And then is one of them Megan?
No, Megan's not ham certified, but we've got the folks in their handles there in the neighborhood, and CERT trainings will probably start again once folks have once COVID rates have gone down and vaccination rates have gone back up.
I did join the group that was having the training on Facebook, and there's not a lot of them on there, but it was something that you sent out for us to go to some meeting on Zoom.
Jump in there, Jennifer.
Jennifer,
Hi, didn't Kathy Feely have a hand in all this?
she did. I actually contacted her and she said she retired.
Oh,
Yeah, I asked her if she wanted to come on and maybe talk about it, and she just said she retired. So
could she recommend anyone?
you could call her.
Megan's the one that
Yeah.
worked with Kathy. Megan's the one that had all the information,
Oh.
so she's a good one to have contact with.
Okay.
So yeah, that was something I just wanted to do. So maybe what I'll do is I'll try to set this up, and we will contact people to come to our May meeting, maybe our May general meeting, unless anyone has any opposition to that.
Can I ask a question?
You sure can. Go ahead, Jennifer.
Is it possible to invite, I still am concerned about the 4J. I like to hear about what's going on in schools. Is it possible to invite them to visit us on Zoom?
Sure. Who would you like to invite?
I don't know. I'd have to talk probably with Angie about it.
Okay, here, let me.
But I just don't hear anything too much of the children and what's going on with them and how school is and things of that sort.
Yeah, so
I say that because I'm hearing kids more and more now, which sounds normal, and play outside. And so just because my daughter's in her 50s and I don't, and my neighbors don't send their kids to school at this point. I'm curious to know what's going on with the kids that are going to school and how it's working. I miss the rascals.
yeah, I can't answer to 4J. I work in Springfield, but to this, were you talking about the school board, people running for school board, or you?
Well, those as well, but anybody from the schools that could talk to what's going on with schools. I'd just like to hear it. I don't know if anyone else is interested.
Yeah, I don't know. You and I can talk personally unless more people want to hear about my experience as a kind of transient school to school personnel.
I'd love to. I just want to hear about the kids for some reason.
Well, I primarily work in special ed, and in Springfield, I can't speak to 4J. It's going really well. The kids are doing really well with masks, and we're talking about kids with that experience multiple disabilities, and a lot of them are doing really well with masks and social distancing, and it's looking pretty good so far. They're just bringing back 4th and 5th graders. Next week will be kind of the older grades, and we'll see where it goes from there. Every once in a while, a classroom does have to be pulled back to distance learning because of a case, but there has not been major concerns or so far in Springfield, and they've been back since beginning of February. So that's my experience from what I know. Oh, Jennifer, I think you're on mute.
You have to unmute yourself, Jennifer.
Thank you for that, Angie. I have been seeing school buses doing a routine to get ready for school to come back on, and then reading something online about the reason that they have those black bars across the buses, which I didn't know about, but they're there for a reason. Does anyone else know what I'm talking about? One level is for where the seats are, the other level is for where they sit, the children, and then one is to protect them around their head area. And I never knew that. There's more to it than that. It may be a little off, but all this time I just thought it was their style. But they have a reason to have them there. I don't know why I'm so homesick for children, but I am. So I still like to see someone come and speak if it's possible.
What?
Thank you.
Delinia, here, let me. Sorry, I was trying to put Pastor Davis. No.
Yeah, I just wanted to let Jennifer know, I Googled it and they do have, the J4 does have regular meetings that the public can go to. So it's probably best, if you would ask the questions there, that's the, because that's going to be your best answer.
Okay, thank you, Delaney. All right, so what we'll do is we'll try to get some people in here. Jennifer, we were talking I think it was last week or the week before, about people that are running for the 4J board. Wasn't that correct? We could attempt to get somebody in maybe in May for that also. I mean, as soon as possible. If everybody's okay with that, we could have a big May meeting, informative session. Because I don't know when go ahead, Angie.
So mid-May is the election, so we'll want to get them in the beginning of May.
Yeah.
I know we already have HIV Alliance coming on the 12th.
Mm-hmm. Oh, are they not coming? They're not coming in April. They're coming in.
Unless it's changed.
Okay. For some reason, I thought Thea said April. I might be wrong. If it's already on the agenda, that's what you're looking at, the agenda for.
It's on It was on our newsletter. It may have been updated from our newsletter. I don't know.
Okay,
But I am sending Katie and Jennifer a message right now for the three of us to start to get that ball rolling and hopefully get them in the beginning of May.
awesome. Yeah, let's do
Um,
that.
Ian, your name was actually brought up. Sean Shiver, the one of the campaign managers for Mr. Liberto. He said he knew
Yeah,
you, and we might.
Yeah, Sean and I serve on the
Uh,
police commission together. Sean's the chair of the police commission.
Perfect. He mentioned a possibility of coming to speak with us. So we've got one thinking about it, but I didn't have a date for them, so I didn't have information to give yet.
Awesome. So I guess we could have them at whenever in the beginning of May. We could have a special meeting, or we could have it depending on how many speakers that we have. And the election's later in May though, so we'd have to do it the first week or two.
The election's April 14th, right?
Okay, well, maybe we could have.
Oh, not our election. Their election.
No,
Sorry, I'm reading our election. I was like, no, it's April 14th. Yes, mid-May. I can't remember the exact day.
we could try to do it early in May. Maybe that'll be something we'll try to set up too. Because I think it would be important for, not just Jennifer, but maybe some parents who are actually in this neighborhood. That might give them some information. Cool. Well, that sounds good. Ian, are you ready to get into some of the grant stuff? Okay, here we go.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ian. I'm one of the at-large board members for the WCC. I don't think, I can talk about the bus piece, but then Angie has the hand sanitizer piece after me. So yeah, I just wanted to let the board members know that the bus photo shoot is canceled tomorrow. Unfortunately, we were getting some of our bus ads for free on buses just because his name's Brian with Lamar Transportation was being gracious and didn't take us the ads down, the all for one for all ads on some of the buses, but then another client purchased the ad space. So unfortunately, the buses that he had set aside for the photo shoot had got new stickers slapped onto them. So he's working with Emma to reschedule our photo shoot, and hopefully this time we'll make it so that Angie and Don and everyone's going to be able to attend. So that was the only grant update, and then Angie's got an update on hand sanitizer.
Yeah, so, and Ian, you may be able to give a little more information on this, but the Amazon neighborhood group reached out to see if they could get some hand sanitizer from us. So I just kind of went through the numbers in the grant meeting earlier. Do you need to correct that in any way, Ian? Okay, so I went through the numbers on hand sanitizer, and we have remaining in our storage at Thinking Tree 272 gallons of hand sanitizer, and we're really only giving out about 6 a month. So it's going to last us for a while unless something just kind of very strange happens. But we also got those 2 free pallets of Heritage hand sanitizer, and we have about 120 cases of those hand sanitizers, which come in more like a quart. So what we were thinking in the OHA group is that we actually reach out to all 17 additional community councils and just split up one of our Heritage hand sanitizer pallets and offer it out for them to put out in their community. And it feels like it'd be a service to us as well as, a relationship builder to start having conversations in that way. And maybe, it could lead to connections that we need or would like in different ways. So that was my thought. That was our discussion. Margaret also emailed Heritage to try to get us another pallet too, if we decide to move forward with passing out one of our 2 from Heritage. So if we did that, we'd have, about 720 quart bottles of Heritage, and we'd still have 272 gallons of Thinking Tree if we wanted to do that. So which would set us up really well, I believe, for a while. We do have 4 more hand sanitizer stations coming out, one at Blair Alley, one at Oakshire, and then one potentially at the grocery store between 6th and 7th. So that may increase our usage. But if they are kind of on par with similar businesses, probably not too much. I'm seeing Blair Alley is similar to like Apple Market as far as people coming through in a day. So probably wouldn't up it too much. And that's a really, really, really generous comparison, just because Blair Alley hasn't had a chance to really ramp it up yet. But so that's what I'm thinking.
So I would like to add as well that with the weather changing and with places opening and with the amount of people that are starting to pour into our neighborhood that don't live here, them coming in, having access to hand sanitizer as protecting ourselves as well as everybody. I mean, this seems like the go-to place to go in Eugene.
It is definitely. Yeah, we have people from all neighborhoods coming here. I think it's a great idea. You know, I did see today or yesterday, I went to Tacovore. They still have like a hand pump one there. That probably wouldn't be a bad place. They get a lot of people coming into this neighborhood. But I just thought it was strange, a place like Tacovore, they had just a small hand pumper where I don't want to touch that thing, you know? I mean, that's why we have the foot pump, but I don't know. I think it's a great idea. Yeah, I mean, if we're going to help people in other neighborhoods and they come here, it's only going to help us in the long run and all of our residents.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I think that sounds great, guys. Delinia.
Question for Angie. On those hand sanitizers, do they have the advertisement for like Thinking Tree and Heritage? Because if so, I would prefer if the Thinking Tree went out to different places. I know that sounds weird, but because they're the more local of the two. And then what was my other thing? Oh, and Angie, I did ask my boss and he would love to have one of those sandwich boards.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
So we'll
to your first point, the only thought I had with that is our stands, most of them hold the gallon jugs and the Heritage ones are in the quart. And it's not a big problem because we had planned on eventually using the quart bottles to kind of pour into these gallon ones. But group, what do you think about the Thinking Tree ones going out instead of the Heritage?
I'm on board with you. I think we should keep the gallon jugs as well. The Thinking Tree as well. Those are all glass bottles.
Okay.
So, you know, if we keep them, we have to figure out what to do with those glass bottles. And we're actually recycling the plastic jugs as we pour them in and out, and then we replace them as we go, because
Okay.
we do have a lot more 1 gallon jugs or 1 gallon stands than we do the 1 quart.
Okay. Thank you.
Cool. Well, thanks, guys. Was there anything else from the crew? Ian? All right. So no motions tonight? I'm sorry. I thought we had a motion going.
Oh, I got 2, but
Yeah.
Oh, yes, the notes, not to the grant. Never mind.
Yeah, did we make a motion to do that? Because I would make a motion that seems like a great idea, that we provide the other Heritage glass bottle, somewhat problematic for us to deal with, but awesome for them as a resource, extra sanitizer to split up 1 pallet among the other neighborhood groups.
Yeah, especially if they can use them,
I
definitely.
second.
Okay, so it's been seconded by Margaret. All in favor? That's voting. Anyone opposed? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Looks like we have a quorum. Okay, so it passes. Sounds good, guys. So Angie, you guys are gonna make it so, and we're gonna help out some other neighborhoods.
Yay.
Cool. Sounds good. And it kind of fuzzed out. Did you say you did have a motion tonight? Okay. Two of them. Go ahead.
And I think Angie does too with the minutes.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Go ahead, Angie.
I would like to, I guess, motion that we January minutes were correct or in the spirit of what we had discussed. If so, I'd like to motion that we accept those minutes so that they can be posted onto our website.
I'll second it. All in favor? Anyone opposed? That was easy. Good job. Thank
I'll
you.
bring the February and March ones to our next meeting.
Cool. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. All right. And Angie, that was the only motion you had tonight, right? Just for them. Okay. And then Ian, you had two, or you just had one in addition?
Two. So the first one is related to this. If y'all are familiar, but the Whitaker Community Council has a arts committee. It's called the Whitaker Community Art Team. Can y'all see this? Handsome gentleman modeling the phone booth. So this interactive sculptural installation is called A Call for Our Future. It's the end of April. We've been working on it for months. And we only got $700 from the city to be able to do it, which wasn't enough money, but we've been looking for other opportunities to get funding to pay our member artists, many of whom live, work, or own property in the WIT. So we are looking in for it downtown, so bringing it outside of the Whitaker so we can pay our member artists. And we're also looking for other opportunities to bring it into different places around the city so that we can use the money to pay folks. So when you open up this little telephone component in the middle going on, and then you'll look at the little didactic, which is a fancy name for the thing that explains the art. And it's going to tell you to call a phone number, and the phone number is going to say, you know, press 0 if you want to do this, press 1 if you want to do this, press 2 if you want to do this. And basically it's going to be different prompts so you could call your future self and call your future self 2 years from now if you want to, you know, explain why you're hopeful for the future, or what you hope public health will be like, or what you hope art is going to be like. But basically it's a way to inspire confidence and hope and really create a sense of community around it. And the motion tonight is for Dubcat to submit a Heritage Arts grant application. So it's not really that much money. Most of the awards range from $250 to $1,000. And so this would actually bring the phone booth to Springfield, artists and Whitaker art leaving the Whitaker. And it's not one that actually exists in isolation. So if y'all haven't checked it out yet, Dubcat is also downtown right now. So this installation is a couple of our member artists, Travis Kerr, who works at Blair Alley and Slice, Miles Morris, who's a video artist who lives here in the Whitaker, and then Susan lives in the Whitaker. And so it's basically a video installation and multimedia installation, exploring technology and memory and loss. Or if you just look for window front exhibitions downtown, but there's precedent for this. I love the idea of the Whitaker leaving our boundaries and bringing the wit to other people. So one of my motions tonight is that the Whitaker Community Art Team receive approval for submitting a Heritage Art grant. And what it would mean is that we submit this by April 15th, and then we would hear back from them June the 8th. So during the summertime, the phone booth could potentially be in Springfield and then be downtown too. So I wanted to bring this to the board for a discussion and a vote. And for anyone who's not a board member and you want to be able to vote on cool stuff, you should run for the board. We have elected. Katie's using profanities, Chris. I'd ask that you not unmute her, please.
Thanks a lot. I missed it. Did you say how much you're asking for?
No, we're probably going to end up asking for like probably $750. And we've been paying our member artists with Rainier and Shiso Chorizo pizza from Slice.
Seems fair.
So it kind of sucks, honestly, because Dubcat's all about paying our artists. And so it's not ideal. And this would make a huge difference just to get people paid. So yeah, we're doing it to pay our artists.
Jennifer.
Yes, I'm sorry, Ian, I don't mean to go off in another direction. But can I talk about later? I'd like to know about Treasury, just because I heard Katie speak, and the election.
Okay, let's talk about this afterwards though, Jennifer.
After you finish. Yes, thank you.
Okay. Okay, so Ian, you made the motion that you are requesting. I'll second that motion. Does anyone have any further questions on this? Delinia.
So is this something that the Whitaker Community Council is going to ask for a grant for them? I guess I'm a little confused about that part.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we would be the entity that is asking for the grant for our subcommittee of Dubcat to be able to pay the artists for a installation that they've pretty much already almost finished. And then we're going to ship it to Springfield and
Let them enjoy our.
they're going to tag it up and send it back.
Oh, they're going to make it nicer. You know, I feel like that's what happens when you bring things to Springfield. It's going to be like jewel encrusted, you know. We're going to have to take down the American flags that we put everywhere. But
line stickers and things like that, we might have to take off there. But yeah, I think that'll be all right. So anybody else have any questions? Moving right along. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion passes.
I got one more.
One down, one to go.
So City of Eugene is asking for nonprofit organizations to apply for a grant that would allow a representative of that organization to serve on an equity. Looking for representatives and aspirations of diverse communities and identities in the Eugene area. And organizations that are selected to participate in the panel will choose a primary member and an alternate to serve on the panel. And panel members will meet every 2 weeks for about 2 hours. Panel is expected to begin in June 2021 and will meet for about 12 months. So I thought that this would be a cool opportunity to bring in someone who's not a board member to represent the WCC. It would be a conflict of interest if a board member got paid, but it would be a cool opportunity for someone who's not on the board to represent the board if we trusted them. And I know it's kind of iffy, but you know, someone like Thea, right? Not a board member, but she serves as liaison to the police commission. Also, I think it's an opportunity to elevate underrepresented folks in the neighborhood and to give them a voice for the Whitaker. So it's not a ton of money. It's $1,500, and the person would have to commit to meeting 2 hours for every 2 weeks for about 20 meetings.
Did you say 20?
So 20 meetings, yeah.
Cool.
I'll do it.
So why don't we throw the net out and also see if Thea wants to do it, and then maybe we could vet. When is it due by?
It's due by April 30th, and we don't need to, the application's due the 30th, and we don't need to say who would be representing us.
Cool. 'Cause it'd be nice to vet them out in like a setting like this.
Yeah, and yeah, the 3 questions are: tell us about your organization, what services and support do you offer, what specific communities do you connect with regularly. The second one is, how do you see your organization furthering racial equity, social equity, and environmental justice efforts? And then third, describe how your organization will support your equity panel representatives. I feel like between the work we do with our unhoused community and the stuff we do with public health and the work we do in partnership with other service providers in the area, I feel like we could put in an application. I don't know how competitive it's going to be with some of these other organizations that like El Centro Latino. You know, we're not going to be able to speak to the communities that they serve. We're Eugene, Springfield, NAACP, right? But I feel like if they want to focus on historically, yeah, we might. My confidence in the city is fairly low at the moment, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't put in an application.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. I mean, why not? And then we just vet somebody out and see if it shakes out. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. And it gives us more representation. You know, that's what we're looking for. And if we look outside of the council, maybe some civilians might want to do it too. I think that might be cool.
We need to vet 2 people because they said also assign a secondary. Okay.
Sounds good. So hopefully by then, maybe we could drag Brad back in too for one of them. If he doesn't want to run. Who knows? I mean, it's a lot of meetings, so hopefully it would be somebody that is able to go to all of them. I mean, 20 meetings is a lot for $1,500, but we've made a lot of meetings and I haven't gotten paid anything yet, so I think it can be done.
Meetings.
I think that's a great idea, Ian.
Cool. All right, so then I'd make a motion that the WCC endorse an application for the equity panel.
Seconded by
for the city of
Angie.
Eugene.
All in favor? Anyone opposed? Bam, it passes. It's a great idea. Go ahead, Gail.
Yeah, I got a notice today regarding the train silencing project that OB pushed through the city some years ago that evidently they actually are threatening to do something about starting this summer. It says that they have not actually gotten full approval yet because they have to negotiate some stuff with the railroad. The railroad maybe are saving grace here because it was so vague. I don't know if the rest of you got yours today or not. The only change in traffic they mentioned in the flyer was that Jefferson would become one-way southbound between 1st and 5th. I know that that initial plan at least included several closures, including Madison Street and I think Lawrence. Anyway, no mention of any of the closures on this breezy little pamphlet that showed up in the mail today. And I feel like they're trying to basically yada yada their way through this until they get the approval. And I wonder if we want to say something. I understand people are bugged by the trains, but if we lose crossings in the neighborhood, it's going to isolate communities and it's anyway, I'm upset about it, as you might tell. I think it's something we should talk about, maybe not tonight, but I think it's something that should be on the agenda.
You know, we had, I think it was Brad and Katie, fill me in if I'm wrong on this, but Brad and someone else was on the committee in regards to the trains. We spent tons of time on this. We caught a lot of flack too because it was really funny. Over the years, you know, everybody's saying, let's quiet the trains. And then all of a sudden, when they did quiet the trains, it was for the wrong reasons. You know, it was for commerce. It was for the new market rate.
Hotel.
Yeah, and so it was really, really bizarre. And we did hear that there was going to be closures. There's going to be $1 million installations of double gates. So it is really interesting that that isn't included. And we did just have a death the other day. Go ahead, Katie.
Mhm.
Well, the thing that you posted on the Facebook page was pretty comprehensive. If you go find Chris's post and click on that, it talked all about all of the closures and all of the changes. And I think our neighborhood is real divided on it because of the closures, but also the idea of maybe having a quieter neighborhood. You know.
Yeah, and I mean, for years, people wanted a quieter neighborhood. It's just the reason being. I'm sorry, I'm lagging.
I said, how am I gonna wake up in the middle of the night with a fright without my train with?
You know, it's just one of those things. I mean, we had people that were chiming into our open neighbors page that lived in the Friendly Street neighborhood, and we're talking about the trains that they heard from there. It was upsetting some guy's yoga time or something like it. It was really, really interesting. But yeah, why don't we try to look into that? We can personally talk about this off of the meeting, but I would like to figure that out too, because we really did have a lot of infrastructure changes and directly in our neighborhood. But just to make sure that that's still not in play, yeah, I'd be down. We can talk about it more.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I think this is something that's really important to the neighborhood. And, you know, I get it. People want quiet trains. I understand there's some weird thing that happens with the sound on the South Hills, so that the South Hills people get bothered by the trains more than I do a block away. But, you know, I don't know. Sound is weird. My point is that it's part of the character of our neighborhood. And yes, it is dangerous. Katie, you pointed out there was a death just the other day, and there was. The trains are very dangerous. People should not be living next to them. I don't. That just breaks my heart to see that. But it doesn't mean that we need to bifurcate our community by actually literally closing roads down and preventing people from being able to connect from one side to the other. So those are the things that I'm concerned about. And I also recognize I wasn't on the council when you were all doing that. So thank you for that work and for speaking up for us in the neighborhood. This is important stuff.
I'd like to get Brad involved in this too. Brad has a lot more information on this, and he was very vocal about this. I mean, because, you know, a lot of these changes affect people walking and bike ridership. So in this neighborhood, that's pretty robust. You know, we have a lot of people that get around like that. So yeah, let's definitely further this conversation, and then we can maybe bring it back to the board, some of our findings, if that's cool. Okay, cool. All right, everyone. It's about 8:13. Looks like we got through another wonderful meeting. Go ahead, Angie.
So Linda posted in the chat, she's wondering when and where will positions and candidates be posted for next week's board election?
We will post them on our Whitaker Community Council page, hopefully. I mean, from our look right here, is everyone that is currently on the board planning on running? Yes, yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Katie? No. Katie's retiring, unfortunately. We don't have a gold watch for you yet, but we'll have something, I'm sure. Yeah, so Jennifer, do you have a question?
Yes, that brings me back to my question is, what are we going to do without treasury? I don't know what we're going to do without Katie. You know, what's going on? I mean, do you just say, I want to run for treasurer? And you get.
Yep, that's how you do it.
There are no skills or qualifications or something.
We are a community organization, so the skills that people bring are really the ones that we've cherished up until this point. So yes, we will be bereft without Katie, and hopefully the vacuum will not be too great.
She's not getting an extension of like 6 months.
He's saying, no.
Jennifer.
No, seriously, I'm concerned about it because it's such a big job. And I thought that there was some talk about something Ian brought up at one point for filling that position. It's a very big position in my opinion.
Yeah, hopefully we'll
a lot of responsibility. I mean, I would never run for it because I could not qualify.
You could do it, Jennifer. Why don't
No,
you?
no,
do it?
no.
Okay, so what we'll do is, anyone that does want to run, you can announce or you can elect someone to be up on the board. How many board members are missing today? So 6 people are not here. Katie,
Ian's been waiting too, but Kelly announced that she was resigning because she can't come to our meetings anymore.
yeah, I saw that. Ian,
But
did
you're
you
talking
have
about nominating. You're talking about nominating, not electing, but nominating.
nominating? Sorry, that's right.
I just wanted to say that we're bringing Andrea Garcia under contract, who works with Sam Hahn at Golf Lab Golf.
Yeah.
Yeah, to help us transition our books from paper to QuickBooks. And she is going to be helping whomever is in the treasurer position. And then Katie has also offered in a much diminished volunteer capacity. Look what I just said, Katie. Much diminished volunteer capacity to act as a trainer for the new treasurer, because position's important. Without Katie, we could not have done, everyone's been super important, but without Katie, we could not have done this grant work. Just fundamentally, we couldn't be able to do it. So Katie, we will be sorely missed. We're having a cat minted, a solid gold cat. A lot of the grant funds actually.
Not a watch, but
no, I'm gonna miss you. Yeah, we're gonna miss you, Katie. I know that I am, but we'll be in touch.
Sure. It'll work out. I mean, things just flow, Jennifer. It'll be all right.
Yeah, don't worry, Jennifer. It'll be okay. No, it is. It's always tough when we lose a longtime board member. It takes a lot of growing pains, and it also, it just shows that as a community-based organization, we have some fantastic people out there that are giving up a lot of their free time and having to put up with me and everybody else on the board too. So it is just one of those things that sometimes it's a crapshoot. I mean, depending on what year it is and what election, sometimes we're gifted with some people. Sometimes it's pretty barren. So hopefully this election, we'll get some good people in here. And we have always made it through. This organization's been around for a long time. And I hate to say it, Katie, you've been a part of this organization for a hell of a long time. I mean, this is, it goes back when you were a teacher over at the school. Yep, I'm saying nice things about you, Katie. I'm gonna mute you real quick. No, but yeah. So if anyone does want to run, put it up on our Whitaker Facebook page. Let anybody know. But ask yourself these questions: do you have the time? And if you do, then we definitely want it, because it takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of patience. Uh-oh, Jennifer, I got you. Let me see. There we go.
When you, are you going to put this on the Whitaker page? And so are you going to also describe what the qualifications are or what the job description is?
I was going to leave that up to you.
Oh, yeah, right. You got to be able to play football and dance in the stars. I mean, that would be my qualifications.
I think that would work. So yeah, basically under our charter, we can put that up of what each
responsibilities are.
Yeah, but I'll tell you the truth. If you've been to any of these meetings, you'll notice that all of our responsibilities are pretty robust. So everyone has shared a more enhanced board membership. Our outreach, like look at Dubcat, look at the grant committees, look at our homeless outreach, look at all the things that we're doing. These aren't written in our job description. Right. These are made up by the people that we have here. The reason we're doing so well is because of the talent that we have on this board. We are really a gifted board by having all of these wonderful people. So let's get some more.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
I think so. But, you know, we have a lot of work to do, and that's part of it too. And it's going to take a lot of positivity. So hopefully we're going to get a few more people, you know, and that's the thing. We want to operate with a full board, but we also need to operate with people that are going to show up too. Because a lot of times your job will prohibit you from being here, or your schedule changes, or you break up with people, or you get divorced, or something happens. You never know. But yeah, we'll put it out there. Also, you know, if you do know some people, try to get them to join, because that is our biggest asset, is you, and finding people that could jive with the group, finding people that have their own voice within a group, because we do need some individuality in here. We need representation. So yeah, everybody can help out, and maybe we'll get Holly to make another little post, and it could announce, was that a kitty? Yes, it was. Maybe she could announce to the neighborhood for next month. I mean, we still have a little bit of time.
Huh? I thought it was the 14th.
I mean, we still have one more week. Sorry. Did I say another month? I'm sorry. One more week. But okay. 1 week.
Yeah.
So unless anybody has anything else, I'm gonna let you find people go. And Angie, we'll talk tomorrow. Okay, I talked to Eli. He's down. Bye, everyone. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ian. You got time?
Yeah, just a quick second.
Okay, that's cool. Bye, y'all. Thank you. Hold on. Go ahead. Is that Linda?
Yeah,
Hey, what's up, Linda?
I just have one more question about, oh shit. I held on to it for a very long time. Move on.
Okay, we can hit each other up online. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, Chris, I'm trying to pull up the contract for the web developer.
Okay.
There it is.
May I ask a question in between?
Sure.
What does at large mean? Oh, never mind. No, okay, I'll wait. I can't read that.
So this is the contract for the web development, Chris.
Uh-huh.
And I can forward it to you. We just need your signature on it ASAP.
Okay.
If you're cool with it, I can throw your electronic signature. It'll go here. Basically, it's been scoped out. Give a website. There's going to be additional maintenance. They're going to give us custom email setup, and then there's going to be additional meetings with council members, and there's unlimited pages.
Okay. So hey, how many maintenance is it? Are they going to give us a year of maintenance, or I'm looking through 4 hours of maintenance that never expire. I don't understand what that means.
4 hours of maintenance never expire, and an additional 10 hours of maintenance. So 14 hours total.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay. I mean, that's good. I mean, we'll definitely need it. From having the block party, I needed that guy a lot, the one that built my website. I needed to go in and change things. So yeah.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be easier. Squarespace is really easy to edit, so I'm hoping it's a lot easier to use.
Cool. Yeah, our last website was built by Ian, and then Annika and Thea helped part of it, and it was just, it didn't lend to being professional at all. It was, I mean, it was.
I think it looks good.
It looked pretty good. Luckily, Ian did that. Not Ian.
gonna say, what are you talking about?
Not Ian, what was his name? Chopsykins. Shit, I can't remember his real name, but luckily he did that for a living. Good Lord, what is his name? I can't remember it. He moved, he and his girlfriend. But yeah, they did a lot of work for us. What were we gonna
I
say,
think it
Jennifer?
looks good. I think the one that's on here right now.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
So, yeah, Chris, do you want, if you're
Yeah.
comfortable with it, I can sign for you, but if you'd like, I can
Oh,
email it
that's
to you,
cool.
whatever you
Yeah,
want.
go ahead and put that on there if you don't mind. Thank you. Whatever we can do to expedite
Cool.
that.
And then do you want, yeah, and then do you want me to CC you when I send it off to Brent and Joe, just like,
If you don't
hey,
mind,
this is
yeah.
the thing? Because
It'd be nice to
they're
meet them too.
yeah, they're ready to get to work on this, man. They're ready to get to work. And we'll make sure that they come to a meeting and
Yeah.
or that they get in touch with you about coming to a
Coffee or
meeting.
something like that, or just chit chat with them, That's cool.
All right. Well, I'm going to take off later, man. I
All
hope
right.
you
Thank you very much.
Good night. I was just reading the chat because I never get to read them.
Uh-huh.
And so anyway, now I've done what I can. Anyway, Chris, I know that you pretty much told me that, you didn't say directly that I shouldn't be a board member because there's a lot of volunteerism that goes on.
Uh-huh.
One year, I think this was when Kathy Phoebe was there, you pretty much sort of directed it towards me. If you can't do the extra things, which are really a big part of being a board member, then you really might not think about running for the board. Now, I'm paraphrasing, but it made me feel not to want to participate. And I don't know if you met or you even realize when you direct it that way.
No, I mean, if you want to be on the board, great. I
don't know. I'm going to just go to meetings,
Okay.
The only, the thing that I like is to be able to vote for something, because I'm a member of the community, and I can't do all the great things that you and others do physically. I just can't, and quite frankly, I don't like to know, but I don't care because people know, I'm just, because I'm older in my 70s, I have certain conditions that keep me. That's reality. So I have to choose, but I think I can be useful.
Jennifer, if you want to run for the board, do it. You were
I'm
on.
not going to do it. If it is meant to be, it'll be.
Okay.
If that's not my,
I'll vote for you, Jennifer.
No, you're so sweet. And I'm just wondering, how are you? Because Thea mentioned, about your health and your well-being last time.
I tore my rotator cuff, so I'm in a thing, and I have surgery at the beginning of the month. I have to have 2 tendons repaired. One of them's completely separated, so I can't really move my arm very well.
Oh, that's terribly painful. Well, if it's, as long as it's.
You still there? Oh, sorry.
I had success when I had my knee replacement, before I had knee replacement, with tendons in my knee, and it was very successful. So you're in a good spot, where you don't have to have a replacement.
I know.
So for whatever that's worth. Pardon me?
It's true. I feel good about that. I mean, it's a major injury, but it's 80% chance that I'll have full mobility again. So that's pretty good.
I think it'll be even better if you behave yourself. Seriously.
To the meeting tonight, though, those are good questions.
Okay, thank you. I don't know why I'm so emotional about the children. I just am, just because I've been hearing their sounds.
Oh yeah. Well, it's been weird. We didn't have them for a whole year. Angie and I will try to work on trying to have somebody come in. So we'll get back to you on that too.
That'll be lovely. All right. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Take care.
All right.
Bye.